Hi, I'm Bellin. If you asked me 6 months ago about my relationship with my mother-in-law, Diane, I would have given you the standard answer. We're working on it. That was my diplomatic way of saying she made my life difficult at every turn. But even I couldn't have predicted she'd call the police on us for moving into our own home. Honey, did you call the movers to confirm? I asked Marcus as we drove toward our new house, the moving truck following behind us. Yes, for the third time. Marcus laughed, reaching over to squeeze my hand. Everything's on schedule. Mom even called this morning to make sure we didn't need anything. That's surprisingly thoughtful, I said, raising an eyebrow. See? She's making an effort. She just wants to be involved. Being involved is one thing. Last week, she suggested we paint the master bedroom the same color as her guest room because it would be like I'm right there with you. I mimicked Diane's sing-song voice. Marcus winced. Okay, that was weird, but she's trying. As we turned onto Cedar Lane, I noticed an unusual amount of activity ahead. Red and blue lights flashed against houses. What's going on? Marcus slowed down, concern etching his face. Are those police cars? At our house? We pulled up half a block away as an officer approached our car, hand hovering near his weapon. Slowly exit the vehicle with your hands visible, he ordered. Officer, this is our house, Marcus said, carefully opening his door. We're moving in today. We received reports of a suspected burglary in progress, the officer, Rodriguez, according to his nameplate, replied. Someone called saying men were breaking into this house with a large truck. My blood ran cold as 3 more officers surrounded our moving truck, ordering the confused movers to put their hands up. This is ridiculous, I said, showing Officer Rodriguez our closing documents on my phone. We bought this house. Those are our movers. Who would report us? Marcus asked, then paused. His expression shifted as realization dawned. No, she wouldn't. Your mother, I whispered, feeling sick. She knew exactly when we were moving in. Our new neighbor, Elaine, hurried over from her porch. Officers, these people are the new owners. I met them last week when they came to measure for curtains. Marcus, call your mother right now, I said through gritted teeth as Officer Rodriguez radioed his colleagues. She's not picking up, Marcus said after 2 attempts. Try Jack, I suggested, naming Marcus's brother. I bet she told him. When Jack answered, Marcus put him on speaker. Hey bro, quick question. Did Mom happen to mention calling the police on us today? What? No. Wait, she did say something weird earlier. She said she was going to make sure your house was properly secured today. I thought she meant she was bringing you a security system as a housewarming gift. I exchanged glances with Marcus as Officer Rodriguez returned. Sorry about the confusion. We're clearing out now, but I'd like to know who made the false report. I looked at Marcus, jaw clenched. This wasn't just an inconvenience. It was a deliberate attempt to humiliate us on what should have been a happy day. Officer, I said, making my decision. I think we can tell you exactly who made that call. Are you absolutely certain it was your mother-in-law? Officer Rodriguez asked, notebook in hand. Who else would do this? I paced across our half-empty living room. The movers had finally been allowed to start bringing in furniture, casting nervous glances at the remaining police car outside. Bellin, Marcus said quietly. We don't have proof. Proof? Your brother literally just told us she was planning to secure our house today. What more do you need? Maybe she meant something else. You know how she gets confused. No, Marcus. She doesn't get confused. She gets controlling. There's a difference. Elaine knocked on our open door, holding a plate of cookies. Thought you might need these after all that excitement. Some welcome to the neighborhood, huh? Thanks, Elaine, I said, taking the plate. Did you happen to see anyone suspicious around before the police showed up? Just a silver Lexus that drove by slowly about 20 minutes before the police arrived. Older woman with short blonde hair. She seemed to be taking pictures of your house. Marcus and I exchanged looks. That's my mother's car, he said quietly. All right, Officer Rodriguez said. That gives us something to work with. Filing a false police report is a criminal offense. It wastes resources and can create dangerous situations. What happens now? I asked. I'll need formal statements from both of you, and I'll pull the 911 call recording. Voice recognition should confirm if it was her. The doorbell rang, and Jack stood awkwardly on our porch. I came as soon as I could, he said. Mom's not answering her phone now. Convenient, I muttered. Look, I'm sure there's an explanation. An explanation? My voice rose. Your mother called the police and reported our movers as burglars. We could have been arrested, or worse. She's just protective of Marcus, Jack argued. She probably saw the truck and panicked. She knew we were moving in today, Marcus said firmly. She called this morning to confirm our schedule. Well, maybe she forgot. Stop making excuses for her, I snapped. This isn't her being forgetful or protective. This is her trying to assert control. Mrs. Henderson, Officer Rodriguez interrupted. Would your mother-in-law have any reason to believe you weren't supposed to be moving in today? No, Marcus answered before I could. She's been involved in every step of this process. Too involved. Jack, I said, trying to stay calm. Think about it. Has she ever done something like this before? Inserted herself dramatically into a situation? Jack hesitated. Well, there was Marcus's college graduation, when she called the fire department because she thought she smelled gas in the auditorium. And my job interview at Preston Financial, Marcus added slowly. She somehow got the interviewer's cell number and called to tell him I had food poisoning and needed to reschedule. And our wedding, I reminded him. When she told the venue we'd changed our minds about the ceremony location an hour before it started. Jack looked uncomfortable. Okay, I see the pattern. What are you going to do? First, I said, we're going to file a police report. Then we're going to confront her, with evidence. No more gaslighting, no more excuses. I'm with you, Marcus said, taking my hand. This has gone too far. I'd like to be there too, Jack said quietly. She needs to understand this isn't acceptable. As they talked, I checked my phone and found a text from Diane. Just checking that everything's okay at the new house. Heard there might have been some police activity in that neighborhood today. So dangerous. Maybe you should have bought in a safer area like I suggested. I showed Marcus the message and his face hardened. She's playing innocent. Classic. Not this time, I said. This time we have proof. 2 days later, we sat in Diane's meticulously decorated living room. The recording of the 911 call played from Officer Rodriguez's phone. Yes, hello? I need to report a burglary in progress, Diane's unmistakable voice said. There are several men unloading things from a large truck at 847 Cedar Lane. They're carrying furniture inside. The owners are out of town, so these must be burglars. Ma'am, do you know the owners? The dispatcher asked. Very well. They wouldn't have scheduled movers without telling me. I'm certain these are criminals. Officer Rodriguez stopped the recording. Mrs. Wilson, do you recognize that voice? Diane sat perfectly straight, her cream cashmere sweater without a wrinkle. It does sound like me, but I was concerned. I was trying to protect my son's new home. Mom, Marcus said quietly. We told you we were moving in that day. You called me that morning to confirm our schedule. Did I? I must have forgotten. You know how my memory gets. Your memory was good enough to take pictures of our house right before the police arrived, I said. Our neighbor saw your car. I was just driving by to see the new place, Diane protested. And then called 911 instead of calling us? Jack asked, surprising me with his directness. I was worried. What if they really were burglars? Mrs. Wilson, Officer Rodriguez interjected. Filing a false police report is a serious offense. I didn't file a false report. I genuinely believed there might be a crime occurring. No, you didn't, Marcus said, his voice firmer than I'd ever heard him speak to his mother. You knew exactly what you were doing. You've done things like this our entire lives, Mom. Interfering, controlling, creating drama. How dare you? Diane's eyes widened. After everything I've sacrificed for you. This isn't about your sacrifices, I said. It's about your actions. You could have gotten someone hurt. I was just trying to help. You're always so ungrateful, Belen. You've turned my son against me. Mom, stop, Marcus demanded. Belen hasn't turned me against you. Your behavior has... I can't believe you're taking her side over your own mother. I only wanted to be involved in your lives. Being involved doesn't mean controlling us, I replied. It doesn't mean calling the police on our moving day. I made a mistake. I'm sorry if you were inconvenienced. Inconvenienced? I repeated incredulously. The police surrounded our house with weapons drawn. Our movers were traumatized. Well, if you had bought a house in a better neighborhood like I suggested... This isn't about the neighborhood, Jack interrupted. It's about you crossing boundaries, Mom. Diane's face crumpled into tears. I just wanted to be important to you both. I feel like you're pushing me out of your lives. We're not pushing you out, Marcus said. We're asking you to respect our boundaries. I'm an old woman who made a mistake. Can't you find it in your hearts to forgive me? I took a deep breath. Diane, this wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated attempt to disrupt our moving day because you weren't in control of it. How can you be so cold? Diane sniffed, reaching for Marcus's hand, which he pulled away. Marcus, surely you understand. I understand that you need help, Mom. Professional help. Diane's expression changed instantly, her tears vanishing. You think I'm crazy? After everything I've done for you? Not crazy, I said carefully. But your behavior isn't healthy. Get out! Diane suddenly shouted. Get out of my house, and don't expect me at Christmas this year. Mom? Jack started. You too, traitor, Diane pointed at Jack. Both my sons turning against me. If that's how you want to handle this, Officer Rodriguez said calmly, standing up. I should inform you that I'll be filing charges for the false report. You wouldn't dare! Diane hissed, turning on me. This is all your fault, you manipulative little... Don't finish that sentence, Mom, Marcus warned. We're leaving, but this isn't over. You need to face the consequences of your actions. As we headed for the door, Diane called after us. You'll regret this. Nobody treats me this way. All rise, the bailiff announced as the judge entered the courtroom. 3 months had passed since the moving day incident. Despite multiple attempts from Diane to withdraw her statement, claim misunderstandings, and even send flying monkeys in the form of extended family members to guilt us into dropping charges, we'd persisted. How are you holding up? Marcus whispered as we sat down. Better than I expected, I replied honestly. Across the aisle, Diane sat with her attorney, shooting us wounded looks. She dressed in her most conservative outfit, hair perfectly styled, looking every bit the respectable suburban grandmother. A stark contrast to the vengeful woman who'd threatened to disown both her sons. The judge reviewed the case briefly before addressing Diane. Mrs. Wilson, you've been charged with filing a false police report, a Class A misdemeanor. The prosecution has provided the 911 recording, witness statements, and evidence that you knowingly reported a false crime. How do you plead? Her lawyer stood. Your Honor, we're pleading no contest. Mrs. Wilson recognizes her error in judgment but maintains she was acting out of genuine concern. The judge nodded. Very well. Before sentencing, would the victims like to make a statement? I stood, hands trembling slightly. Your Honor, my mother-in-law's actions weren't merely an error in judgment. They represent a pattern of controlling behavior that has affected our family for years. The incident on our moving day endangered not only us, but also innocent workers simply doing their jobs. Police resources were wasted, and a potentially dangerous situation was created, all because she wanted to assert control over our lives. After I sat down, the judge considered for a moment. Mrs. Wilson, I find your actions particularly troubling. This court sentences you to 6 months probation, a fine of $2,500 to cover police resources, mandatory counseling, and 40 hours of community service. Diane gasped audibly. Outside the courthouse, she approached us, her lawyer hovering nearby. Are you happy now? She asked, her voice quivering. You've humiliated me in front of everyone. You humiliated yourself, Diane, I replied calmly. Marcus, please, she tried, reaching for his arm. I've learned my lesson. Can't we put this behind us? Mom, we told you months ago what it would take. Real therapy, real accountability, and respecting our boundaries. I said I was sorry. What more do you want from me? We want change, not apologies, I said. I'm still your mother, she said to Marcus, ignoring me entirely. Family forgives. Real family respects boundaries, Jack said, joining us. We all want a relationship with you, Mom, but not like this. So what now? Diane asked bitterly. You just cut me out of your lives? That's up to you, Marcus said. The door is open for a healthier relationship, but we won't accept the old patterns. You'll regret this when you have children, Diane said, looking directly at me. You'll understand then. No, I replied. If we have children, I'll understand even more why this was necessary. As Diane walked away, her shoulders slumped. Elaine approached with coffee cups for everyone. Thought you might need this, she smiled. How did it go? Exactly as it needed to, I said. Later that evening, Marcus, Jack, and I sat on our back porch. Do you think she'll ever change? Jack asked. I don't know, Marcus admitted. But for the first time, I feel like we've given her a reason to try. And if she doesn't? I asked. Then we've still done the right thing, he said, taking my hand. We've shown her there are consequences to her actions. You know what I realized today? I said. Real strength isn't about getting revenge. It's about setting boundaries and sticking to them, even when it's difficult. To boundaries, Jack raised his glass. And to family, Marcus added. The healthy kind we choose to build. As the sun set over our new neighborhood, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The house that had begun with police sirens and chaos now felt truly like ours, a sanctuary where we defined the rules, set the boundaries, and built the life we wanted. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have pressed charges or tried to make peace? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of family drama and the journey to setting healthy boundaries.